Do you have plans for further travel or a working holiday visa in Australia? Could you discuss budgeting? How much did your travels cost? Are you happy to be home? Hey peeps! Today I'm going to be answering your questions all about my solo travel experiences while I was on a 6-month sabbatical earlier this year. Regular viewers will know that I've been home for a few months now, but I've been so busy getting back to work and also seeing friends at weekends. I've finally got a quiet weekend. I've got the sniffles, as you might be able to hear, but I thought, you know what? Perfect opportunity to sit down and film a long overdue Q&A. I asked for questions over on my Instagram, so thank you so much to everyone who sent in a question, and let's get on with it. The first question I received was, are you happy to be home? I'm kind of happy to be home. When I first arrived home, it was a huge relief seeing friends and family who I've not seen in months, having my whole house to myself again, having my own bedroom, a double bed, a bathroom to myself, my whole wardrobe of clothes. It all seemed like such a luxury after living out of a backpack for so long, and it made me really appreciate it so much more. It was nice being able to switch off for a bit and not worry about travel logistics. And I am happy to have my old life back, I guess. I do really like my little life in Cambridge, my little friendship circles. Someone else asked, what did you miss when you were away from the UK, and what do you miss now about traveling? So focusing on what I missed about the UK, I missed our family dog Buster because he does not understand social media or FaceTime, so I really couldn't interact with him while I was away. Obviously I missed friends and family, but more specifically I missed being at gatherings that happened. Maybe I got a little bit of FOMO when there was a birthday or a group trip or just a family lunch, you know, things that I would ordinarily attend. I missed ice skating, I missed having vinegar on my chips, I missed meal deals, which I've discovered are a British thing. I missed my bears, my cuddly toys that I have at home, which might sound really sad as a 26-year-old adult, but they're just a comfort thing really. On the flip side, now I'm home, I obviously miss the sunshine. Now it's going into UK autumn, it's getting a bit cold. I miss the minimalistic lifestyle actually, which I know contradicts my point earlier about being happy to have my full wardrobe at home, but it was quite nice to have a very limited set of items I was carrying around with me. It took away the choice and the decision making from the day to day, and it's made me realise I probably need a big clear out in my house at home, to be honest. Next question, question 3. What surprised you most about solo travel? I was just surprised by the sheer number of people doing it. It has become so common for young people to make these big trips across the world by themselves. And I think maybe it is social media showing everyone that it's actually possible to do it by yourself, and people are having wonderful, amazing times. They don't need a partner, they don't need a friend to go with. And I was pleasantly surprised by the number of people who were my age who were solo traveling. I was worried. One of my main concerns before going out was that I would be one of the old ones compared to, say, the 18-year-old gap year students or the 21-year-olds who had just graduated uni. But actually so many people are taking sabbaticals from work in sort of their mid to late 20s. The next question I received was, did you have any worries about safety before solo travels, and how did you deal with these worries? Do you know, I didn't actually have too many safety concerns before I left. I think I was really reassured by all the solo travel content I watched online beforehand, but I did do some things that made me feel safer that I would recommend other solo travelers do. Firstly, just book a group tour. You won't find yourself going out at night by yourself when you are with a group tour, so I really think group tours are the way to do solo travel. If you're by yourself, book a female only dorm room if you're a girl. Obviously, I appreciate girls and guys watch this channel. Be careful with your possessions, take a padlock and lock up your possessions when you're leaving them, and use a crossbody bag across your chest with a zip. Although, to be honest, when it came to pickpockets and crime, I felt there was less of a risk in the regions I was visiting compared to London day to day. When I'm walking through London, I am gripping my phone so hard because I know it could get snatched at any moment. I think it is important to always know your surroundings and have a look at a map on your phone. If you're relying on your phone for navigation, make sure it's charged up or you have a portable charger. And yeah, just don't go out alone late at night. That's a good principle to live by, whether you're traveling or you're at home. I got a few questions asking me if I feel refreshed and recharged after 6 months off, and how do you feel after the backpacking months? I'm generally feeling pretty good and definitely refreshed. I would say though, in recent weeks I've been feeling a little bit lonely, and I think that has been driven by my travels. While I was away, I was literally seeing people every single day. It was quite intense, obviously, being on group tours. You are socialising 24/7, and my house feels big and quiet with just me. But it is strange because I've also had loads of social plans recently, so maybe I'm just overthinking it. I'm still sort of in the transition adjustment period, I guess. Next question, did the travel actually provide a break, or should you have stayed at home and relaxed? Yeah, definitely the travel provided a break. It provided me a break from the work and study stress that I really wanted to escape. Staying home and relaxing for 6 months straight, for me, would have felt a little bit boring, a little bit depressing by myself. I didn't want to just spend 6 months pressing pause on my life. I just wanted to do something a little bit different for 6 months. Someone asked, what new perspectives did traveling give you about work now that you're back? To be honest, guys, I did a lot less thinking about work and my career than I'd planned. I thought this sabbatical was going to give me a chance to get clear in my head what I was actually looking for in my career. And instead, I just took the switch off part of the assignment really, really seriously and didn't really think about work the whole time. Okay, so I had so many questions about my future travel plans. I'm gonna read these off my laptop because there's quite a few of them. Is your travel era done, or are you planning more? Would you even do it full time? Do you have plans for further travel or a working holiday visa in Australia? Do you feel like you've done enough big travel for a bit, or has it made you want more? So long-term backpacking for me is done for now. I need to earn some money again, guys, and I don't think I could travel full-time. It looks amazing through the lens of these full-time travel content creators, but I really was dealing with travel fatigue by the end of my trip. But I do definitely want to do more travel at some point in the future. Maybe 3 months would be a better length of time. It's just a question of when I fit it in, because I also want to progress my career and maintain my social life at home. Having a corporate job in the city, you can't just jet off for 6 months every year. Could I work in Australia as an actuary one day? Maybe. I'm also curious about the idea of living in a European city for maybe 6 months or a year, settling there, learning the language. That would be pretty cool. But also, I'd quite like to travel with a partner or a friend next time. I know I've preached so much about solo travel, and I still would solo travel again in the future, but it would just be nice one day to have someone to rely on and come with me. Someone else asked, if you moved to Australia, what city would you live in? That's an easy answer. I would move to Sydney. I really liked all the Australian cities I visited, but Sydney just had that magic factor about it. So much so that I've got this print to go on my wall. It says, I left my heart in Sydney. Fun question, where do you want to travel to next? So, let me give you my bucket list. The number one place I want to go back to is Slovenia and do some more exploring around the Triglav National Park and go to Lake Bohinj, which is not far from Lake Bled, which I visited in June while I was travelling by myself, but I'm convincing some friends to come with me this time. I'm also interested in Dahab, Egypt, which is supposed to be beautiful for diving in the Red Sea. Big trip wise, I really want to go interrailing around Europe, especially Spain and France, which I haven't actually seen a lot of. I've been to a lot of Spanish islands, but not really to mainland Spain. And finally, I want to go back to New Zealand and do some multi-day hikes, but it's a long flight, so again, that might be something that happens a few years down the line. We'll see. Final few questions before I wrap up. Someone asked, could you discuss budgeting? How much did your travels cost, and did you overspend? I still don't actually know. I have not run the numbers on how much my travels cost in total. I budgeted around 20k for the whole trip. I thought that was probably an upper limit on how much I was going to spend, and I estimate I spent around 15k. There were a lot of things impacting that price. I probably ate out more than the average backpacker, and I had private rooms more often than the average backpacker because I felt I could afford it with a stable job at home. But at the same time, I was fortunate enough to be gifted group tours for 4 of the countries I visited, and that included a lot of my accommodation and travel costs. So yeah, I will run the numbers and get back to you guys on the cost breakdown. Maybe my favorite question of the whole video: what did you buy during your trip? Love a post-trip haul. Okay, let's start with magnets. So these are kind of a heavy thing for a backpacker to collect. Firstly, I've got the trio of Australian magnets of 3 stops that were particularly special to me. Then I've got a Lake Tekapo magnet from New Zealand, which has some fun facts about the Mackenzie Dark Sky Reserve on the back where we stargazed. From Southeast Asia, I got a Thailand gecko and Cambodian Angkor Wat magnet. And finally, from Europe, I got a Budapest magnet, Lake Bled magnet, and Salzburg magnet. Next, I bought some coasters. I got a couple from New Zealand. This is one of them. It's got some kayaks on it, and I honestly think it's the most picturesque place I have ever been kayaking. And this coaster was from a market in Cambodia, and I've got 2 of these as well. In New Zealand, I bought some Crocs. These are looking kind of dirty now, but the most special part of these Crocs are the gibbets that I bought. I bought them from Australia, from New Zealand, from Thailand as I travelled around. Next, I've got a tote bag from La Plantation, Pepper Plantation in Cambodia. Also from Cambodia, I've got some spiced mango. This was actually a gift for my dad, but he rejected it because it was too spicy, so here it is back in my house. I'm making my way through it as a snack. I actually bought 2 sweatshirts, and this is only one of them because the other one's in the wash, but it's from Gander, an Australian brand. We discovered a really cheap jewellery store in Cairns in Australia called Harley and Harper, and I bought this bracelet there. I've had so many compliments on this bracelet like you would not believe. Another notable purchase from Harley and Harper were these gold large flower earrings. Very holiday vibes. I have not worn them since getting back, but I did very much enjoy wearing them while I was traveling. I've got this copper ring that I bought in a Cambodian market. I bought a ton of these for my friends and family, so we've all got matching ones. This necklace I've worn to death, but it is the national flower of Cambodia, the lotus flower, just on a little necklace, again from a Cambodian market. And finally, I bought a load of badges, including this Sydney one. I pinned them on my backpack for a little while, but then they kept falling off, so I actually lost some of the badges, but there are a whole collection from Australia. That is most things that I bought while traveling, which means we can move on to the final question of the Q&A, which was, how's your dating life going? Did you meet anyone interesting while traveling? I did not date anyone at all while traveling, guys. No exciting stories. To be honest, I was traveling with mostly girls. Group tours are 80% girls. And generally also, in Australia and New Zealand, most people I met in hostels were girls. There were far more girls travelling those areas than there were guys. But then when I got to Europe and I started going to hostels and solo traveller events and tours, it was mostly men that I met who were solo travelling. So I don't know what the reason was for the gender imbalance in different backpacking areas. I think I actually got a little bit of interest from guys in Europe. At least one guy was very heavily flirting with me, which is flattering, of course, but no, nothing happened, no dating. Sorry, there's no juicy stories to tell, but I did meet loads of wholesome, lovely new friends. So that was the real love story of my travels. That is most questions answered. I am always happy to share more travel advice and answer more questions on travel in the comment section of videos or in my Instagram DMs. So please feel free to reach out if you're considering a big trip in the future too. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye.